Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this ASUS ROG Zephyrus, Republic of Gamers, okay? So this is a model GA401I, right? The full model number is GA401IV-BR9N6. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and remove the screws from the bottom, but let me go ahead and get a thumbnail here, okay? So the customer said it's running hot, so we're going to be redoing the thermal paste. We're going to be putting PTM7950 as well as some thermal Grizzly Putty Pro for the GPU chips and things like that. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and get a thumbnail for this. Okay, we're going to be using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. Okay, you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern and I remove them. So we got 4 here, we got 2, then we got another 2, another 2, and another 4. I'm just going to put this like kind of in a row. So I'll just do like 4, maybe then the 2, and then the 4, and then the last 4. So, all right. If they're different size, I'll let you know if I notice. So far, they seem to be about the same. Okay, so if you do happen to mix them up, then I think you'll be okay. We'll see. Sometimes some of them might be shorter, maybe the front ones, but we'll find out once we get there. Yep, the rest so far seem to be the same. Sorry, I'm trying to align the screws while I'm trying to unscrew it. Okay, and the last 4. Sometimes on these models, a screw will stay attached to the bottom case, and that helps you actually pop it open. Alright, yep, the screws here are much shorter, so keep that in mind. You don't want to put the long screw in this spot or you can damage the laptop. Okay, last screw. Yep, and this one's attached to the case so it doesn't come out. So when you undo that screw, as you can see, it pops up the corner of the case, and you'll use that as an entry point. So usually I'll get my fingernails in there, and then I'll slide my fingernail along there, and actually this case came out super easily. I just pulled up and basically slid my fingernail there, and you can see it already kind of popped up most of it, and then just wiggled, and there we go. So here's what it looks like inside. Okay, I'm gonna first check the dust. I mean, there's a little bit of dust. The customer said they already tried to clean it up. So, yeah. But I'm going to use a powerful air blower to blow through here and see. Alright, just to be safe, I am going to disconnect the battery. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So the battery connector's right here. Alright, there's a little metal latch that you have to slide over. So I just use my fingernail and pull this over. Okay, you want to be careful not to pull it too far. We're just sliding it barely so it's no longer over this white piece here. Okay, also removing the RAM will make it easier because it's a little bit in the way. So let me actually zoom out and show you this. So the RAM, there's 2 tabs. You pull to the side, it pops up. Oh, normally it doesn't fly out like that. Normally it will pop up like that, and then you just grab it and pull it out. And the RAM here is PC4 3200AA. Alright, so that's the RAM, and it's an 8 gig stick. You should be able to upgrade to whatever size you want. There is only one slot here, so the other stick of RAM is most likely soldered to the board. Alright, anyways, now we're going to go underneath here, and we're just going to pull this up. Just like that. You can see now the battery is disconnected. And to be safe, I always recommend after disconnecting the battery, open the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Alright, this makes it a lot safer to work on. Some people ask if they have to do it. I mean, it's 15 seconds. If you're not going to take 15 seconds to make sure you don't destroy your computer, then you probably don't want to open it up because you're probably going to destroy your computer. Alright, anyways. Wow, there's a lot of dust even on that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dust it out, but let me real quick just show other components that are in here. Okay, you can see the wireless antennas on this side. They go under, and they do have this plastic that's kind of just keeping it there. But if you peel this up, you'll probably see that, let's see, yep, it's just on top of the heatsink. So we are going to have to take that out because we are going to have to remove the heatsink to work on redoing the thermal paste and stuff here. Okay, under here is the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. There's one screw. Once you remove that screw, you can pull it up slightly and then pull it out, basically like how the RAM works. You got one fan connector right there. Okay, it's the wireless card is underneath the SSD. What the heck? That's a dumb design. Anyways, we are gonna have to take that out so that yeah, we can get the wires out. We're also gonna have to get the LCD LVDS connector out, which is this one. Let's go ahead and just remove the battery from the laptop just so we have a little more room, and I can also show a few other things here. Okay, get that screw out. Okay, again, keep the screws in order. It looks like there's 4 screws holding this in place. Alright, now that we got the 4 screws out, we should be able to lift the battery. So just go from anywhere here, lift it up like that, and then we can pull it out like this. Battery model number is right here, C41N1908. Okay, set the battery aside. Okay, you can now see underneath here, you got speaker connectors here. All right, are they both separate? No, wait, what? Oh, are there multiple? Okay, I think there's 4 speakers in here. So this black connector connects to the speaker here and here, okay? And then this connector, the white one, it connects to, there's a speaker underneath. I don't know if you can see, but the wires go under there, over here, and over here. Interesting. Okay, anyways, what else? The other fan connector is here. Again, the LCD LVDS connector is there that we're gonna have to take out so we can redo the thermal paste. Let's go ahead and take out the SSD so that we can undo the wiring for the wireless card. Okay, I guess we'll clean out the dust once we have all of this out. It'll be easier when we have the entire heatsink out. Alright, so undo that screw. Again, you can lift up slightly. Go very slowly. It seems there's a thermal pad holding underneath. Okay, so just apply slow pressure, pulling up slightly. Okay, you don't want to pull up too hard because you don't want to snap the SSD. So we're going to wiggle and pull this out. And the thermal pad's still kind of stuck to it, so let's see. Oh, actually it came with it. Okay, that works. So there's the thermal pad attached to the SSD. We'll set that aside. Again, keep all the screws in order. There's a lot of them. Okay, wireless card is here. I'm not going to disconnect the antennas because sometimes the solder's bad on there. So we're going to undo the screw and then we're going to pull the connector up. Okay, that one has a silver screw in case you mix it up. Hopefully that helps. This we lift up. I'm going to use the raised portion here to help push it back. There we go. And then we can go ahead and move this aside. Again, I'm going to undo this adhesive here and then just route the antenna wire over here, okay, just so it's out of the way. All right, again, we also have the LCD LVDS connector here. I should probably zoom in to show you guys a little bit better, but there's stuff on my desk that might make it not too good. All right, here we go. Anyways, we got this pull tab that we can grab, and then normally you would just pull this up, but sometimes, as you can see, it's kind of hard. So what I do is I get my fingernail underneath the outer portion of this connector. Make sure you're not prying onto the connector that's on the board. So we'll go here and then I'll just pull up just like that, and you can see how easily that pops out. Then this has to slide out because this was tucked under the heatsink here. All right, and yeah, you want to make sure you're not going underneath and prying on these pins and stuff on the board. All right, so this is held down with adhesive. Grab as close as you can to where the adhesive is and then pull up and then kind of work your way close to try and stay close to the adhesive. All right, then we're gonna have to peel this side up as well. So peel that up and then we can get the cable out here as well. Okay, same thing. Peel that just like that, work your way around, and okay, now we have the LCD LVDS connector out. Sometimes people ask for the screen connector cables. If you're trying to find out, you'll want to check on this label. It's like usually some long number. It's not even focusing. Okay, I don't know if you can read that. If you, yeah, you can pause and then try and read it, but usually it's some long number. I usually don't look that up because it's pretty rare that people will need that kind of stuff, and if you're opening your computer, hopefully you can just read it, yeah, when you get to that point. Okay, anyways, we're gonna pull the heatsink out. So there's several screws holding it. There's one up here we'll have to undo. Again, keep all these screws in order. There's one down here. Also keep in mind we are going to have to undo the fan connectors. Alright, we got 4 holding the heatsink here. So we're going to get these out. I need to see if I can scrape the little sticker off. There's what do you call? Kind of a temper sticker. It's just so they kind of know if you opened it or not. Alright. I'm probably just going to have to poke a hole in it if I can't peel it up. Yeah, we'll probably have to poke a hole in it, but let's try. We'll try to peel it up. Yep, nope. Okay, you can see how it just tore that sticker. Yeah, I'm just gonna poke a hole in it. But let's go ahead and get this excess stuff around the screw out. Okay, and then we can, it's all dropping everywhere. And then we can kind of toss that stuff away. There we go. Okay, then we'll just poke a hole through this and undo that screw. Sorry, I know it's kind of zoomed out, but if I keep moving around the camera, I'm going to forget to move it to show what's going on. So we'll continue removing all of these. Alright, and once we pop it out, I'll know which one's the CPU and GPU. Right now, if I were to guess, this is probably the CPU and this is probably the GPU. But we'll find out once we get all these screws out. Okay. Alright, we'll get the 2 screws holding this side of the fan in. Okay, lots of screws. Alright, I think that's it. Can we even pull the fans out without pulling out the heatsink? No, I don't think so. So it's all kind of like attached together. Okay, anyways, we do need to disconnect the fan connector here. You'll want to use like some tweezers. Let's see if this works better. This one springs backwards, so when I let go, you can see it clamps. So I'm going to try and use this. Let's see if there's enough room. This thing is in the way. No. Oh yeah, okay. And then you kind of just wiggle it, and there we go. Actually, that worked well. Okay. The reason I didn't want to use my normal tweezers is because my normal tweezers are like more pointy and I don't want to risk scraping the motherboard. Okay, so same thing with this one. We'll go here and then go on the outer edge and then just kind of wiggle it like this, and there we go. All right, so there's that disconnected. All right. Let me actually show a few more components inside here before I completely take things apart. I didn't mention, oh, actually, interesting. There's a CMOS BIOS RGC real-time clock battery port here, but they don't actually have a battery there. That's kind of strange. All right, this is the touchpad, trackpad connector. There's a latch on this side that if you want to take it out, you flip that latch up and then you can easily pull this out. What is this, dust? All right, you got the keyboard backlight connector here, the flip latch is on this side, and then the keyboard connector here, the flip latch is on this side, okay? Hopefully you can see. Again, we already mentioned the speaker connectors. I think that's about it. All right, let's go ahead and see about removing the heatsink with the fans from the laptop, okay? So usually what I do, you want to be careful because these, you don't want to just pull up on it because you'll bend these heat pipes. So what I do is I kind of rotate it like this, twist it side to side. I don't know if you can see, but it's slowly wiggling these as well. Okay. And then I'll try and pry from like more over here. And the reason for that is because these are where the screws pull it down. So if you happen to bow it upwards the opposite way, the screws will actually bend it back down and will act more as a spring that will hold it even stronger, or like push it against the thing even stronger. Okay, wow, it's like really stuck and the whole motherboard's actually coming up. I think there aren't any other screws holding the motherboard in place, which is pretty strange. Oh, you want to be careful, there's another connector up here, it looks like. I'm assuming this is for the power button. There's tape on top, I don't want to mess around with it. Alright, so again, I'm gonna keep wiggling this because it's still stuck very strong. Okay, maybe while I'm wiggling it, I'm going to try and pull up from the side over here. Okay, it's lifting. So this side is lifted off. The GPU side's going to be more tough because it has all these like thermal pad goop stuff there. So I'm going to try and pull this side up while I kind of wiggle it again. Okay. Let's try and pull up this side a little. Oh, it's pulling the motherboard up. That's also an issue. And you want to go slow here, okay? So, again, okay, this side lifted. We're going to keep pulling over here, wiggling, okay? And try and pull this side. Again, continually wiggling. Again, you don't want to pull up this side. You don't want to accidentally bend anything. Okay, I'm going to try and hold down the board with my thumb here and then continue pulling up with my fingernail here and wiggling, and it feels like it's coming up. Yep. Alright, and there we go. Okay, so now we have the entire fan assembly out. Okay, as you can see, oh, actually, did this not even make contact? Wow, okay. So you can see, I don't know if this stuff even made proper contact. It's like not gooped up, but you can see this, okay? So they actually don't put a crazy amount of the stuff here, but we want to take note of all the stuff where they had it. So they have the goop on those two, they have the goop on these two, then the VRAM here, that's the video memory, and then all these little squares here along the back, okay, and then all the bigger squares here, and then obviously the CPU and GPU. So yeah, this is the GPU, this is the CPU, and the GPU will usually have like little things sticking up here, so they actually covered it with this black plastic, so it's not as bad. Anyways, I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna use this little tool, and I'm just gonna scrape off the stuff and into a trash can. I'm gonna do this mostly off camera just because I need to hold it over a trash can, and I don't want it to like crumble and get into stuff. So yeah, I'll do this off camera. Same thing, I'm gonna have to clean that stuff up as well, and then we'll be back. This blue stuff, actually, it's like a putty. It's not too bad, it comes off okay. So yeah, but you can see here how it kind of goops up. They don't use thermal pads here, they use like a putty, okay? So I'm gonna be replacing it with the Thermal Putty Pro. This is from Thermal Grizzly. Alright, there's no sponsor there. I bought the tubs. They're pretty expensive. I was trying to find the best thermal thing for CPU, GPU, and I'm not sure if there's anything better. If there is, let me know. I don't know. I haven't really done any test comparing things. I just read what they said. They had like several, and this happened to be their best one. That's why I got it. Okay. Yeah, again, I don't know if there's something that performs better. If there is, let me know. Okay, so this came off. You can see we're basically going to do that for all of this stuff. Okay, I mean, I guess I can record the entire process. Minus the part where I have to go out to the trash can, which the paste, I'm probably going to have to do that. But this part I can record. Okay. And it doesn't need to be crazy clean. I mean, the stuff that's on here is designed to transfer heat. Basically, it pulls the heat into it really well. So if you can't get it 100% clean, it's not a huge deal. I mean, if you got dirt or something on it, then yes, you want to clean that off. But if it's this putty stuff, it's not too big of a deal. And a lot of times you can actually reuse this stuff. I would recommend like making the putty into a mound over the center of the little things, so that way when you go to put this back on top, it will smush it back down flat, and that way it will kind of more make sure that everything is coated. I'm probably going to have to use a toothbrush to get all this stuff out. Alright, but yeah, okay, so I'll probably do that over a trash can off camera. And yeah, I'll be back because I'm going to do that on the outside trash can. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. This stuff too, you can kind of scrape that off, okay? And then I'll do the additional cleanup part. You see how this stuff, it's not going to really stick to thing. So I'm gonna clean that up outside and then I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. And yeah. All right, I'm back. So what we're gonna do now, we need to clean off the final remaining bits. All right, so what we're gonna do, use some paper towel and some isopropyl alcohol. Right, I use what is it, 91%. All right, the higher percentage is actually better. I'm gonna try and, as you can see, wipe off the putty, the goop that's there. Okay, because I want to put more of the Thermal Grizzly Putty Pro. It should hopefully allow it to cool better or more efficiently. Okay, basically it's pulling the heat into that the heatsink, and then the heatsink spreads it so that the air can blow it away. That's what the purpose of the heatsink is and how it works. Okay, so we're just gonna try and wipe away as much as we can. Okay, probably won't be able to get 100% of it, but the more we can get out, the better. Okay, just like this. Right now, again, I'm just using paper towel. I don't even have isopropyl alcohol on it yet. We'll do that in the next step, but we're trying to get as much of this out as possible. If you're wondering why I don't put isopropyl alcohol on it right now from the start, it's because I don't want to dissolve the putty and stuff and then make it kind of go everywhere. So it's better to try and remove as much of it as you can first. Okay, and there we go. Okay, we got most of that out. All right, also I did clean, well, I didn't do this, dust this, but I dusted the fans and everything. I used a powerful air blower to clean it out. Looks like there's some dust trapped here in the keyboard area. Okay. Actually, why am I doing that? I have this to dust it out, works better. Okay, there we go. So we'll move this aside for now and we'll clean up the heatsink now. The fans are removable. They're held in with the adhesive here, and on this side as well. Okay, so if you want to replace the fan, actually, is this one not holding it? Okay, that one's not holding it. So it looks like the adhesive here is the only thing holding it. But you'd basically have to peel off the adhesive there, and then you can separate the fan. Okay, I'm not messing with that because we don't need to replace the fans. So I'm gonna wipe off the thermal paste here. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to use isopropyl alcohol. I have some in this little squeezy bottle I put, and we're just gonna put isopropyl alcohol on there. Okay. Just like that. We shouldn't really need much on this putty pad thing. Okay. But we'll add some afterwards. Okay, there we go. Alright, oops, I wiped it. Okay, now you can see after the isopropyl alcohol, we can wipe this stuff off relatively easily. And then now we're going to switch to a clean paper towel and repeat the process, okay? So, oops, my paper towel. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to tear a small piece again. We don't need a huge amount. And I'm going to actually put the isopropyl alcohol on the paper towel this time. And we're just going to wipe this. Okay, and then dry it. There you go. You can see how gross it is, even though it looked pretty clean. And we'll do it one more time after this. Some of it also is basically just the oxidation of the copper that we're rubbing off. I mean, it's going to oxidize again real quick, so yeah, keep that in mind. All right. Okay, look at that. Look how gross that is. All right, we're going to do it again. Same thing, just get a small paper towel, fold it up. Okay, again, we'll put some isopropyl alcohol on it, and then we'll wipe this. You only really need to wipe the middle. You don't need to wipe the whole portion of the CPU heatsink thing portion, because basically the thermal pad only needs to make contact with the copper part that's going to touch the CPU, GPU die. Alright. Okay. all cleaned up. I know somebody's probably going to say something like, oh, there's like scratches and stuff on it. The whole point of the thermal paste and stuff is to fill all those little imperfections. So yeah, don't really worry too much about that. It's not going to affect the cooling capabilities at all. If anything, it adds more surface area. It actually might help. But anyways, there we go. Okay, so now we got to redo the paste here. All right. Oh, I forgot. I need to do this side. Oops. Okay, let's get some more paper towel. And again, we'll get some isopropyl alcohol on it. Okay. Likely not much will come off of this, but it should be fine. Yep, you can see how this one stays clean because this doesn't oxidize like the copper does. Okay. Use that to dust it. You don't want to put a crazy amount of isopropyl alcohol because you don't want to get it to go underneath the components, okay? That's why I put it onto the paper towel first. I don't want the isopropyl alcohol to flow underneath the components. Isopropyl alcohol by itself, if you let it dry, won't be an issue. The problem is it'll pick up the gunk and stuff here that you're dissolving, and then it will flow it underneath, and that can cause issues. So that's why you want to be careful. Okay. Okay, this stuff is all shredding now. Okay, so there we go. You can see how it didn't really get dirty at all there. So we should be good. I'm going to just dust this off. And it looks like on this one, they have pretty tight tolerances. So it doesn't need a huge amount of the putty stuff, okay? But I bought like a giant one. They have smaller versions of this, but I mean, this stuff's pretty expensive. Even the small one I think is like 40 something bucks. So okay, has these little things to smear it around. I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use the other thing I have, and it comes with gloves too, which I'm also not we'll see if I use it or not. I might end up using one. Come on, it's stuck in there. Oh, I guess I'll just pull the whole thing up. It has the glove in there. Okay. So I'll set that aside for now. Okay. So first thing I'm going to apply actually is the PTM7950, because that I can leave on top and then I can worry about it after. I mean, then I can peel off the protective coating later. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. Okay. And here's how I apply the PTM7950. You'll get to see. All right. Let me clean up a little bit of the other part of the board. Sorry, I should have done this when I wasn't recording earlier, but yeah. I'm just cleaning this part, the bottom cover, or the bottom cover. All right, so the PTM7950, it comes in a sheet. All right, I bought this giant ones from Linus Tech Tips, if you know him. Okay, and what we're gonna do, I'm gonna use a marker for this, and then we're gonna also use tweezers to separate the layers. Okay, so, oops, dropped a popsicle stick. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna use a marker here just to mark how big we need, how much we need. Okay, so first you want to find the size here. Okay, oops, I cut a little notch there, so I might have to cut that. Oh, okay, without the notch it should be okay. So the notch is actually excess. Let's go ahead and cut that little notch off, because I won't be able to use that for anything. It's so tiny. Okay, so now that we have the right size here, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find out the width, and I'll just mark it there. Okay, so we got that, line it up, and I'm gonna mark it like this, and that's how I know where to cut. Okay, so let me see, hopefully it'll be in camera. Basically we're gonna cut this rectangle out. Oops, sorry. There we go. And then we'll cut this. All right, there we go. We have this rectangle. We're gonna need another one for the CPU as well. And now we just gotta separate one of the layers away. So I just use the tweezers here and try and peel away one of the layers, okay? Once I find a layer to peel, I'll do that, and I'll hold this, okay? Then I'll use the tweezers to grab it and peel the rest off. Then we gotta line this up, okay? Make sure, all right, it's the right width, right length. Okay, so we'll just line that up and then drop it down, stick that down, and there we go. Okay, and usually what I'll do here is I'll also draw a mark on top. This marker's kind of dying, but all right, basically draw a mark on top so we remember that we need to peel that off. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other, the CPU die here. Okay, that's too big. What about this side? That's about right. This will be okay. So that one, this one. What about this way? Nope. Okay, so we'll cut this one, right? Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll mark that. Just like that. All right, you get the idea, right? Makes sense. All right, we'll cut this one out as well. Again, sorry if it goes out of view of the camera. Oh, actually, I'm gonna cut this side first. I cut it at a weird angle, but it should be okay. All right, this also is, it's not super completely thin. There's some thickness to it, so don't worry. When you put the heatsink, it's gonna smush it out and spread it out a little bit. Okay, so even if it's a little bit too small, don't worry. It's actually, it'll be fine. It'll spread out, but this, okay, you wanna try and cut it close to the same size. All right, so this is the hardest part, is just separating these layers here. Some people say to put it like in a fridge or something. That doesn't really do anything because this stuff is designed to pull heat away, right? So basically, if you're gonna put it in a fridge, it's just gonna warm up super fast again. Oh, this one already was kind of peeling itself away. Maybe I should have peeled the other side first. All right, so here we go. Just stick this down. Like that. All right, you can see how it's kind of like, it stretched itself, so now it's gonna have extra. It's extra wide. But again, this stuff, like, it smushes down really, really flat. So you can see how I can like fold it in on itself, okay? And then if I were to smush it, it'll smear outwards. Okay. All right, so there we go. Stick it down. We have a bit of excess there, but it should be okay. All right. It's actually less excess than what they had originally. If you remember, they had it all going out, flowing over the place. Okay, so there we go. We got those done. Now we need to do the putty. Okay, so the putty's in this. And this is my first time opening this one. I had a small one before I used it all already. Okay, there we go. And oh, it has a little cover here. So that's what the putty looks like. It's this gray stuff. And I'm probably gonna have to use the glove for this. Let's see, because I'm gonna be rolling it into like little balls. So I'll get on one of the gloves. Okay. And now let's go ahead and get the putty in here. All right, it's gonna be somewhat of a pain because we're gonna have to make several of these little putty balls to cover the entire thing. Again, the gap between it is pretty small, so we don't need a crazy amount. If anything, so you can stick that on like this, and then basically I use this, but it did come with these things here where you would basically just smush it down on top, and then you kind of like just make sure it's going the right direction. Okay. And just kind of smear it down like this. Okay. And then I just try and shape it to follow the rectangle. Just like that. Okay. And we're just going to get a whole bunch of that. So I guess I can use this to do the whole thing. Can kind of use that to help roll it into a ball. And then put that on there. And then smush it flat. See how it kind of doesn't want to stick. It makes it, this is a little tricky to put. Alright, shape it to the rectangle. Alright, maybe I should put the glove on my right hand because I need my left hand to have more dexterity. So I'm going to switch this. Okay. Switch the glove to my right hand so I can use my left hand with a little more dexterity with this little sputter thing. And also you don't have to worry about putting too much because this stuff isn't conductive. So it's not electrically conductive. So if it does happen to go into the circuits and stuff, it's not going to cause any problems, okay? The only issue it could possibly cause is it will allow the heat to go there easier, or it will pull the heat there. Might actually be easier to smush it out with the glove. Okay. Yeah, it's easier to kind of smear it around with the glove. Stuff is always kind of a pain to apply. It's a lot more work to apply this stuff than the actual paste. That's why a lot of times the they'll use like a, not a putty, but they'll use like a pad for the CPU, for the VRAM. And also because it doesn't get as hot as the actual die, the core, whatever you want to call the cores, the die. I kind of wonder what they use in here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a diamond putty, like powdered diamond, because diamond diamond actually is a very good, what do they call it, thermal conductor. At least this one doesn't have a crazy amount of the VRAM. Some computers I work on, they have like a lot of these, so it's a lot more work. But it does have those, all those, I don't even know what they're called. Sorry, I'm not like an expert in like the board components, but transistors, resistors, I don't know, whatever they are. Relays. If someone knows, feel free to tell me in the comments below, and hopefully I'll add that to my knowledge. Okay, I think this one I put too much, so I'm going to try and scrape some off. Put it over here. I don't want it to goop out everywhere. Also, this stuff is expensive. Alright, want more of those VRAMs. Alright, that one all built up. Probably put too much on some of them, but I guess we'll see. When we go to put the thing back on, you'll see it ooze out. Alright, so there's that. The VRAM, we do need to put it across all of these. That's going to be more of a pain because they're so tiny. We're just going to make little balls and then leave it on there, and hopefully, okay. It's so difficult to make it stay there. Maybe I should just make a long tube. I might as well. The gap between is very small. So I can just make like a long rolled up thing like this. And when we put the heatsink on top, it will smear it out on its own. Okay. I guess we can kind of smush it down. This will work well. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost done. Okay, one thing also I want to double check is where. Okay, let's see here. So this goes on here. We got those two. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, we gotta do the little bits back there, which I'm probably gonna have to just make tiny balls to stick on each one. And I'll probably use this because it's smaller, easier to maneuver. Use that to smear it around. Okay. Oh, that's way too much. All right, shape that. Okay, just like this. Just like that. Oh, that's also too much. That's also too much. Oops. a ball, drop it. I know, sorry, this is boring. You can fast forward over if you want. If you've been watching the entire thing, you're awesome. And hopefully this is helping you. Okay. Yeah, I like to use this pokey stick because then I can kind of just poke it around to spread it how I need it. And then again, when we put the heatsink on top, it's really gonna just smear it all around, so, or smush it down, so you don't really need to worry too much. Okay. No, that's also too much. We're almost there. Okay. Oops. Go. We only have 2 more pieces that we need to apply the stuff to, and then we should be good. Okay. This one we're just gonna do like the ball and then poke at it. Same with the other one. Oh, we have people outside right now. Around just like that. Oh, I might have a customer outside. Oreo, shh. Okay, and then the last 2 pieces down there. The heatsink actually for these 2 aren't sized properly. I'll show you what I mean in a bit, but the part that contacts it, it's also rectangular but sideways, not the direction that this is, so it's kind of interesting. Probably gonna need a little more for the other side. I think I put too much on this one, so I'll take some of that and move it over here. This one still has way too much compared to the other one. Put that there. right, there we go. Okay, now that we got all of the putty and everything applied, let's go ahead and put the heatsink back on and we should be good to go. All right, take out the gloves. Okay, so once we put this on, we'll double check and we should be able to see the putty and paste and everything squeezing out on all sides. So we'll zoom out here. Oh, I forgot to put the little white lid back on first. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead now and put the heatsink back on. So just make sure to line it up the right way. You got to get it right the first time, because once you smush it down, it's going to smush everything out. And yeah, if you lift it up, it's going to go weird. So carefully line it up. We'll put this side in first because that's the side we took out last. It does have a raised mount here to kind of help align it. And we'll slowly drop it down into place. Okay, so there you go. You can already see this stuff is all oozing out and that stuff's all oozing out. So we should be good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the fan screws first, but loosely. Okay, I'm not tightening it all the way down yet. Okay, you can see how it's wobbling like that. Same thing on this side. This is just to make sure everything is aligned properly. It does have these raised metal pegs to help with that already. So, yeah. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and zoom in and get the fan connector here. So this, you just line it up. And make sure that it goes straight into the port. So like this. Okay, once you got it going straight in, we're just going to pinch the whole thing. Oh, I think my customer's here. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go ahead and continue getting these screws back in. Was it always zoomed that much? What happened? Okay, anyways. So now we got those 4 screws in. They should all be lined up, but let's go ahead and get the other screws as well. Usually they have numbers here. I don't know if there are numbers. I can't really... Excuse me. Okay, I do see the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4... Okay, so it's not super important to do this exact numbers, but it does help with spreading the paste and stuff more evenly. So this is the first one. I'm just loosely fitting it first though. I'm not tightening it down yet. This is going to be the second one. Okay, and then 3 is the outer one here. Okay, 4 is over here. And, okay, then 5, then 6, and then 7, and 8. Okay, so I'm gonna do them all like evenly, so I'll go here, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, then we'll go here. 1, 2, 3. We'll go here. 1, 2, 3. Here. 1, 2, 3. Then go here. 1, 2, 3. Here. 1, 2, 3. Here. 1, 2, 3. Here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we'll go here. We'll tighten it all the way. That one. Then the cross. This one. Then over here. And then here. Okay, and then here. And then here. Well, I put a lot of extra paste there actually. And here. It's oozing out all over the place. And here. I'll have to clean that up a little bit. Alright, I'll double check all the screws, make sure they're tightened in. Good. Since they're all tight, it doesn't really matter which order, but I try and follow the order, but I just did it backwards there. Okay, anyways, now we'll tighten down the fan screws. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. don't forget to reconnect the fan connectors there. You want to make sure, otherwise it's going to overheat if you're not plugging in the fans. Okay, so there's that. Now we'll go ahead and grab this fan connector. Make sure to get it to go in straight. Okay, we'll use this again to help guide it. There we go. And now that we have it all lined up, we're gonna, this thing's in the way. They put it too cramped here. Okay, now we'll grab here and pinch that in. Good, make sure it's in all the way. There's some dust on the connector, so let's clean that up. Actually, did it not come out? What in the world? What is that? I don't know what that is on the connector. Oh, there we go. Okay. Get that out. Okay, now that we got that all cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and get the excess out here. Okay, so there's a bunch of excess. So I'm going to scrape this away because we don't need all this goop pouring out of here. Okay, get this excess out. All right, we got that. Oh, and I didn't, I mentioned it earlier, but you see how the shape of this, it's like a horizontal rectangle, all right? So this, and then the chip is actually vertical rectangle, so. All right, let's get this excess out of there. You don't really need to clean off this excess, but I mean, yeah, it's like oozing out everywhere, so I'm just gonna get out the stuff that I can see and reach. Okay, you can see a bunch oozing out over here. Okay, oops. All right, see all this oozing out over here. Oh shoot, I'm in trouble. I did the one thing I said not to forget. Okay, so we gotta take the whole thing out again. We gotta take the whole thing up again. I forgot to peel off the things. Oh my god. Okay, let's go ahead and do this again. All right. I got distracted and then when my customer arrived and then I forgot. So we gotta take this all back out again. Okay, if you want you can fast forward over this part, but basically I'm just gonna peel the whole thing back up and then, yeah, you get the idea. All right. We'll see if I have to redo some of the paste now. The problem is, I mean, the putty is going to be okay, but these, I'll have to see if I can line the stuff back up because the extra thin layer made it have extra pressure on here. So it's going to spread that PTM stuff even further. Let's see. If we're lucky, because it's cold, it has a harder time spreading out, so we'll see. Usually the PTM stuff, it needs to be heated and cooled for it to flow into place properly. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and wiggle and pull this back up. Okay. And hopefully also the thermal putty stuff will be okay to go back in. Okay, here we go. And now you'll be able to see how it's spread, I guess. So, okay, you can see all that. Wow, okay, there's a lot. So it should be good. There's plenty of extra there. So when we smush it back down, it should be okay. My only worry is this stuff. Let's see. Will it even separate now? Oh, it does. Okay, no worries. Okay. All right, just to be safe, what I'm gonna do is the excess that came squeezed out, I'm gonna push that into the middle, okay? You can see here. Okay, you see how there's this excess stuff? That went out. It's barely anything actually, so it shouldn't be an issue. But I'm just gonna fold it over. Okay, it didn't have enough time to really squeeze itself out, so we should be okay. Also, if you're worried about this causing issues, yeah, no, it's gonna liquefy and then it's gonna smush all over, so don't worry about this stuff in the middle having like this. We'll run the temps and then the customer will also tell me how it's running. So we should be good. If it runs hot, I'll redo the whole thing, but it shouldn't have any issues. Okay. Oh, this one oozed out way more. So the CPU one definitely. Okay. That's because the CPU has the, what do you call that? You know how that metal plate thing has that bump that sticks out? Okay. Hopefully my mistake will help you avoid making this mistake. Alright. I even precautioned earlier with the thing. Okay, see how much this oozed out. Jeez, I put way too much on this one. So I can take out the excess here actually. And you can actually see that all of it was making good contact. Okay, it did ooze up everything, so we should be good. Make sure this all has the putty there. Okay, this all has excess. I'm gonna try and just smush it all to the center so that way when we put it back, it will actually smush back down more. Okay. Alright, this one looks like it has way too much, but it seems like it's fine, so I'm going to smush this back over to the middle here. Then it's going to ooze back out again. There we go. Alright. You should be good. Yeah, there's all this excess here that oozed out. This was all the excess that was kind of going out everywhere. Okay, try and center that back over here. Oh my god, so much extra on this one. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and now put this back on. If you want, you can try and like get all the excess that, oops, sorry, I zoomed way too far. And try and like make these blobs towards the center so that way when it goes to smush back down, it will smush it all back out evenly. Okay, so we centered all the blobs of goop. Now let's go ahead and smush this back down one last time. Make sure everything is good this time. Looks good. Okay, lower it down. Alright, we should be good. Now let's go ahead. You already know the drill. We're just going to go ahead and screw them all back in. Yep, it's already oozing back out. Put so much. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Okay, tighten that one. Tighten this 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 one. Okay, double check them all. Good. And the constant force from this, oops, sorry, will basically act as a spring, which will constantly smush it down until it fills all the little nooks and crannies with the paste. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask the customer to log in so I can stress test all of them and double check the temperatures. Okay, but we should be good. All right. It's too bad I had to lift it up and do it a kind of a second time, but it's good because I was able to verify that there's plenty of the putty and paste and everything. All right. There we go. Okay, that's good. All right, did I double check the fan screws? Yep, okay, one more time just to be safe. All right, there's all this excess again. Now we're making sure we get a lot of the excess out. Okay. And I think we should be good. I did squeeze more out there, but it's okay, it's not squeezed out that much. Okay. Can squeeze all this excess. Look at all this excess. Okay, I think we should be good. Obviously there's going to be a lot of excess here, but I can't reach it because it's like far under. Okay, so it should be okay. See that? It all, I don't know if you can see it oozed out all under there. So we should be good. All that excess, okay. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead now and finish putting this thing back together. Boot it up, make sure everything is good, and we should be done. All right. So we'll get this cable, has to go back in, make sure it follows the little routes, guided areas. Okay, just slides under. Let me zoom in here for you. Line it up, make sure it's lined up right. You'll know because it like kind of locks in, and then click it down. There we go. Stick that back down, and then you can go ahead and stick this back down. All right, now we'll go ahead and go with the wireless card. Oops, sorry. Peel this up. Make sure this goes again back through the wire guides or routes, whatever. And this goes all the way over here. Make sure this comes back up. And this goes here. Okay. Oops, sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing. That's why I don't like zooming in so much all the time. I forget to. Alright, so get this lined up. Okay. Then pull the whole chip in. There we go. This goes down. Get the silver screw. Get that in. Be careful not to screw it onto the top of the wires. You don't want to smush the wires. Okay, now that's in. You can tuck these wires out of the way. All right, let's get the SSD. Okay, goes in that way. At an angle. Push it in. Get the black screw. This goes down. Make sure it lines up. There's a raised lip here for the where the screw goes in. Make sure the SSD isn't resting on top of it. It needs to go past it. Okay, and tighten that in. Good. All right, what else we got? We got the battery. We got the stick of RAM. Okay, we'll put back the stick of RAM here. It goes in at an angle. And then while you're pushing it in, click it down. Just like that. Let's go ahead and put the battery back in now. Battery's a little dusty. Let me clean that. I'll actually also dust out the keyboard. Okay, line this up. Sorry. If you can't see, I'm sorry. There, oops. Okay, lower that down. Make sure this is out of the way. Battery connector, click that down. Okay, then slide that over to lock it back into place. You can hide that tab underneath. We'll get back in the battery screws. We're just about done. If you noticed, I turned the screws backwards before tightening them. That's so I can make sure that it's going in, it's not going in crooked. You'll hear the click, and then that's when I go to tighten it down. Okay, last screw here for the battery. All right, let's get the bottom cover back on. Let me actually put away the PTM stuff here real quick. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and get the bottom cover on now. So, just line it all back up, push all around the edges except for that corner because that one has the raised screw. Then we'll get that one in first, twist backwards, hear it click, and tighten that down. Alright, and if you want to open it up and test it before you get the rest of the screws in, I highly recommend putting these corner screws where the hinges are first, just because those help hold the hinge in place, and you don't want to open and close the laptop too much without those. Especially don't do it too quick because you can actually break the screw mount points for the remaining screws that are holding the hinges down. This goes for pretty much every laptop, so yeah. Alright, we'll get the last few screws in, and that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, or if it does, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? If you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel, again, called It's Been Reviewed and More, where currently I'm posting those videos here as well, but I'm planning to try and move them all onto that channel, or yeah, eventually I'll stop uploading the review videos on this channel. So if you can subscribe to that one, that would be really helpful. Again, It's Been Reviewed and More, same profile picture but zoomed in. Alright, we're just about done. I'm gonna go ahead and double check all the screws one more time. We don't want the screws coming loose and then falling out. Sometimes if they're not tight enough, that happens. So we're just gonna go ahead and tighten them in all the way. Looks like they all have like a tiny bit of a little bit of a turn left that I can tighten them down. Okay, and there we go. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Let's flip this over, power it up, make sure it's working, and we should be good to go. Okay, I think I saw the keyboard light up. Oh yeah, this little light is on, so we should be good to go. Let me turn this light off. Alright, since we disconnected the battery and drained the power, basically the BIOS, CMOS, real-time clock, whatever is reset. So don't panic, it's going to power cycle several times usually. That's usually what happens for laptops that don't have the BIOS battery, like a separate BIOS battery. You can see it starting up, and we should be good to go. Since we did a complete disassembly, it's always a good idea to do restart. So I'm going to restart the computer. I don't know if you can see because it's very dim, but I'm going to do a restart. Okay, it's always a good idea to do a restart after any like major hardware stuff. In this case, we put the same exact hardware back, so you don't really need to do it, but I like to do it just in case it detects anything different. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.